Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee. I'm going to call to order our meeting for Tuesday, September 19th, and I will now ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Payne.
Present.
Councilmember Wansley is absent. Councilmember Vito.
Present.
Councilmember Ellison. Absent. Osmond. Absent. Goodman is absent. Jenkins is absent. Councilmember Chavez.
Present.
Councilmember Trugtai.
Present.
Councilmember Koski.
Present.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Present.
Vice Chair Reenville.
Present.
And Chair Johnson.
Present.
We have 8 present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum, and I did hear in advance from Councilmember Goodman, who is on our way to the Clean Energy Partnership, which is a city responsibility. I know Councilmember Chugtai is a member of that, and we'll have to run to that shortly as well. And then Councilmember Ellison, this office let us know in advance that he had a prior commitment as well on city business. So with that, we have one item today. Our main item is passage of a resolution approving the city's 2024 capital budget requests for the state capital investment bill. And I'll now invite Katie Topinka, our IGR director, to get us started.
Thank you, Chair Johnson and council members. I'm pleased to be here to present our capital budget request for you today. So before I go into the 2024 request, I just thought I'd recap briefly that there was a capital investment bill passed by the legislature this past session that did include a number of city priorities. So you will see that a couple of these priorities are no longer on the list we're bringing forward to you today, including the Central City Stormwater Tunnel and the Emergency Operations Training Facility, which were both on the list for a number of years, and we're pleased that they were funded by the legislature this past session. The 2023 capital investment bill also included nearly $90 million for different nonprofit projects in Minneapolis, which are not typically on our list, but are things we're generally supportive of as well. And then the bill also included money for public housing rehabilitation and local tree planting, which are other things that are of interest to the city. So moving on to the 2024 capital budget process. So the city, as you all are aware, can seek general obligation bonds from the state for infrastructure projects in the city. As a general rule, the projects must extend the useful life of an asset, be a one-time expense, be publicly owned, and then be a regional project or facility, so something that benefits the entire region, and then also have a non-state match, so local or federal funds or private funds as part of them. And so we were asked, all local governments across the state had the opportunity to submit preliminary proposals to Minnesota Management and Budget in June, and so we did that, and we submitted 4 projects, which we'll be talking to you about today, and as you can see, we have a robust team from Public Works here as well who can provide details about the projects if there are questions. They are all Public Works projects. And then final submissions are due to Minnesota Management and Budget by October 13th. And so that's what we're bringing forward to you today is approval for those final submissions and the resolution. That is something that MMB requests that local governments submit with their projects is a resolution from the local governing body. So with that, I will go through the projects that are on the list, and then, as I mentioned, Public Works staff can help answer any more detailed questions if you have them. The resolution does rank the projects. That's another requirement. We are required to submit a ranking, and so I'm going to present these in the order that they're ranked on the resolution. The first is the Nicollet Avenue Bridge. This has been on our list for a number of years now. This is a bridge that spans Minnehaha Parkway and Minnehaha Creek. And is in need of repair. Our request is $44.5 million in GO bonds. The total project cost is just under $54 million. So we do have some local and federal funds that are committed to the project as well. This is a regional project because it is a key connector between different communities in the region, and it accommodates a significant local bus route, Route 18, which is slated to be upgraded to bus rapid transit in the future. And it is a significant throughway for both motorized and non-motorized travelers, and it supports accessibility to emergency services, jobs, schools, and local businesses. I will pause here and see if there are any questions specifically about this project before moving on to the next one.
I am not seeing any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next project, the second ranked project on the list, is this 36-inch water main restoration. Our request here is $8.34 million, and we are proposing to match that with the same amount in local funds. And this is structural renewal of the drinking water transmission water main that runs through the North Side Green Zone. You'll recall that in December of 2022, there was a break in the water main and a brief boil water advisory for parts of North Minneapolis. This project would restore that water main. And the reason we're requesting GO bonds to do this in this way is it is more cost-effective and faster to do the restoration all at once. So if we could get the general obligation bonds, we'd be able to do the project, restore the water main, and get the project done more efficiently. And this is a key pipeline for supplying water to downtown Minneapolis. And so we're hoping that the state can contribute to get this project done more quickly. I will pause there to see if there are any questions on this item.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Katie, it's a great slide, and I take it that this is the water main that popped last year. Did we ever figure out what happened? Was it a bad pipe or a pressure change?
Vice Chair Rainville. Basically, there's a number of contributing factors. We don't have any single smoking gun. As this is an old pipeline, actually one of the oldest transmission mains in service in the city of Minneapolis. That coupled with it's located in a relatively high traffic area, and then it was also basically subject to some pressure transients from the system. Excuse me. So those number of reasons all likely contributed to that particular failure. One of the reasons for this project is because of the age and the materials from which it's built, there's likely other locations that may be subject to similar failures or weakening. But rather than having to go and try to find those and do piecemeal rehabilitations, the money to be able to do this all at once allows us to rehabilitate the pipeline.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director.
All right. The third project on the list is a project you've seen before. This is ADA transition. We're requesting $5 million in general obligation bonds to help us with our pedestrian curb ramp upgrades to ensure compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. We have more than 18,000 pedestrian curb ramps in the city of Minneapolis. Right now, about 23% are compliant with ADA, so we have work ahead of us. We are diligently working to get it done as quickly as we can, but we are requesting state funds to help accelerate our work to upgrade the non-compliant curb ramps. We did receive just under $2 million through the transportation bill this past session, which will help with this work. But again, this costs tens of millions of dollars and is taking many years, and so we want to make sure we can accelerate this as quickly as possible. You can see on the slide a before and after picture of what the curb ramps look like after the upgrade is complete. This is near the federal courthouse downtown, and clearly it's a lot more accessible once the work is complete. Pause there for...
Not seeing any questions. Thank you.
And the final project on the list is Boston Terrace. We're requesting $3.9 million in GO bond proceeds. The total cost of the project is $7.9 million, so we're requesting just under 50% of the cost. And this project will address critical infrastructure improvements to the Boston Terrace sanitary sewer, and it'll replace 4,200 feet of sanitary sewer and 2,500 feet of storm sewer. There is a deteriorating storm pipe in the area, and the stormwater flows in this area. This area is near the airport and a number of regional roadways, and so this project will help ensure that we're not experiencing issues that affect the airport and surrounding areas. So I'll pause there in case there are questions on this one.
Not seeing any. Thank you. Oh, we do have a comment or question from Councilmember Choktai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This question isn't specifically about the Boston Terrace project, but about the water main restoration. Agree that it's really important to do the structural renewal of this water main. I know it was a really big deal when it happened last year, and we got a pretty extensive presentation from Public Works right after the pipe broke. And I guess I'm curious about why we're using this process to request money for the restoration of it instead of using the money that was allocated for lead pipe, water lead pipe restoration or replacement. And there's, I'm not saying, I don't actually know if there's lead present in these pipes anyway, so maybe it's just not relevant, but curious about that. All right, I'll defer to Ms. Bankston to answer this question.
Director Bankston.
Thank you. Councilmember Chugtai, thank you. In particular, the lead service line replacement money is specific to lead service lines, which are the pipelines that connect from the water mains to residences. So that, in essence, is a different pot of money, so to speak. There are, other questions about funding for this relate to things like drinking water revolving fund and things like that. So by asking for bonds, it helps us basically manage our financial profile and not take out a loan to do the work, but getting these state funds help us accelerate that and fit it into our overall capital program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Director.
Thank you. Vice Chair Rainville.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I cannot help but recognize our great Public Works team here today, and so many of the calls I get, so much of what I do revolves around Public Works. You're so important. I just do have a couple quick questions. The stormwater, Central City stormwater tunnel that has impacted many residents and businesses. Do you have an end date on that?
Vice Chair Rainville, the anticipated end date right now is June of 2024.
Okay, thank you. So would you feel comfortable if I let my constituents know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're putting that out on the project website right now. Actually, it's out there, so yeah,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then my second question is, a lot of copper theft has been going on. St. Paul probably has more of a problem, but recently on the median and on Main Street Northeast, a couple gentlemen actually crawled down into, they popped off the top, and this is between 7th Avenue and 8th Avenue. I'm sure you're aware of this. Yes? No? And they somehow pulled out an 80-foot pipe, again, at 4 in the morning. So the question is, and it appears to have been a disconnected copper pipe. So it didn't affect anybody's service. But what are we doing to secure our copper pipes?
Director.
I'll take a shot at this, Vice Chair Rainsville. I'm actually not familiar with that particular theft, but copper pipes make me think water service line, copper service lines. I do know that that can be a problem on interior of properties that are abandoned or vacant, and that often will go in and we'll have troubles where people have taken out the copper piping. I'm not as familiar with people actually being so bold as to dig up in the street. These service lines are buried 8 to 10 foot deep, so the level of effort to go down and dig and access those lines to pull them out is something I haven't encountered before. So.
Well, yes, the level of effort is very impressive. In fact, and I don't want to bother you, maybe we can talk about this offline.
Please, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Councilmember Payne.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. I was just curious about, there's a little bit of overlap between this funding mechanism and the regional solicitation process at Met Council, and I'm just curious how we approach these types of requests. Is it based on, whether or not these projects meet or don't meet the criteria, or obviously we're in this unique scenario where we actually have a budget surplus at the state that is a different pile of money that's not typically available. But I was just curious as how we kind of approach
Chair Johnson and Councilmember Bean, I will start and then maybe turn it over to one of my colleagues from Public Works to fill in more. But as I mentioned, and maybe I'll go back to that first slide. Part of the way we identify projects for this process is there are pretty specific requirements that the state gives us, that it's, a project of regional significance, that it's a, one-time expense, extends the useful life of an asset. So we are, when we put out the call to departments to identify projects that fit the criteria the state give us for general obligation bond projects. But often these projects are large, expensive, and need more than one source of funding as well. And so we might identify a project for GO bonds that we're also applying for federal funds or other sources of funds for. And so that's, I think, a partial answer to your question. I'll see if there's anything Sager wants to add.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. I'm Jennifer Hager. I'm the Director of Transportation Planning and Programming in Public Works. As Director Topinka noted, these are state funds that we're going for with this resolution. The regional solicitation is for federal funds. And so those are for very specific categories, mainly roadways, bridges, bike and ped, and transit. And so to the extent that some of these proposals here overlap, the main one I see is with the ADA upgrades. And we do pursue projects for ADA upgrades in the regional solicitation. The pot of funding that we can go for there is limited. It's usually up to, $3.5 to $5 million, maybe $7 million if we can couple it with a roadway project. Our need when it comes to upgrading our ADA pedestrian curb ramps across the city is over $400 million. And it's a federal mandate, it's an unfunded mandate that we are working to advance our work on. And so we're looking to leverage as many funding sources as we can in order to accelerate that work. The new active transportation funding that will be distributed by the TAB is also something that we're very interested in and will be tracking.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, Director.
All right, just have one more slide here, just to talk about next steps. So as I mentioned earlier, our resolution and final budget or capital budget requests are due to Minnesota Management and Budget by October 13th. And so that's the request before you today, is to allow us to submit that resolution. And then both the Senate and House Capital Investment Committees do conduct tours across the state in advance of the next legislative session to tour projects that local governments and nonprofits and others have submitted requests for. So the Senate Capital Investment Tour in Minneapolis is slated for October 26th and 27th. And we are working with committee staff and members to identify stops for that tour and also coordinating with our partners at the Park Board and Hennepin County for that planning. And then the House Capital Investment Committee tours in the metro area are scheduled for November 14th and 16th, or November 14th through 16th, excuse me. And we don't know yet which day they'll be in Minneapolis, but we will certainly keep you informed about details of the tour as they are finalized. And with that, that completes our presentation. Happy to stand for any final questions.
Great, thank you, Director. I am not seeing any. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I'll add the comments. Thank you to our IGR team and to Public Works for bringing forward these items. This is critical infrastructure that serves Minnesotans beyond Minneapolites, I don't know the correct terminology, but we'll work on that. I know. Really appreciate these items coming forward. These are really, really important, and hopefully we'll get them all funded. So I will go ahead and move approval of the resolution. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion carries, and with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.